making headlines this hour. In a historic first for the Maldivian political sphere, President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu becomes the first head of state to visit every inhabited island in the Maldives in record time. President pledges to double the land area of the Fusheen Kaf Atoll, outlined in a far-reaching infrastructure program designed to ease spatial constraints and expand essential services for the island's growing population. President unveils a strategic development initiative aimed at accelerating economic and social progress in Kashidu, a geographically isolated island in Kaf Atoll.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSN News in English with me, Minha Maruf. In a historic first for the Maldivian political sphere, President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu becomes the first head of state to visit every inhabited island in the Maldives in record time. President Dr. Muizzu achieved his feat by completing visits to all inhabited islands within just 1 year and 11 months. He concluded his nationwide tour on Tuesday with his arrival in Thustu Kafu Atoll, the final stop of a 2-day visit that included all inhabited islands in Laviani Atoll and 3 islands in Kafu Atoll. With Tuesday's visit to Thustu, President Dr. Muizzu has now visited all 187 inhabited islands and cities of the Maldives within the first 1 year and 11 months of its administration. During this period, he has also made second visits to 63 of these islands. President Dr. Muizzu's completion of visits to all inhabited islands within just 23 months stands as clear evidence of the administration's rapid pace and commitment to nationwide development. Throughout these visits, the President met with Island Councils and Women's Development Committees (WDCs) to discuss developmental needs and the residents' foremost priorities. He also engaged directly with members of the public on every island, inquiring about their well-being and listening attentively to their concerns. Accompanied by cabinet ministers and heads of state-owned enterprises, the President ensured that up-to-date information was shared regarding ongoing and planned projects for each island. Special projects were introduced for individual islands to strengthen essential services, ensure community safety, and enhance social protection. Accordingly, Bank of Maldives (BML) ATM services were extended to every inhabited island, with installations scheduled for completion by the end of this month. When the current administration took office, 66 islands had no established police services. That gap has now been closed as pledged, with resident police services introduced across all inhabited islands, a feat accomplished during these tours. Similarly, services for printing and issuing the national identity card, ID, and passport services have been established and launched in every atoll of the Maldives. During his travels, the President oversaw the commencement of island-specific projects and the signing of key development agreements, translating pleasures into practical progress, particularly in housing, education, health and wellness. Notably, he announced a range of initiatives designed to advance social empowerment and community development. These presidential tours symbolize the administration's steadfast commitment to decentralized development, ensuring that every island, regardless of its size or remoteness, participates in and benefits from the nation's progress, with no community left behind. We will be
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة والدرجة الرفيعة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته وارزقنا شفاعته برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
ಏಲೆವೆಲ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫಕೆರಿಯಾಗ ಕುರಿಯದ್ದಾನೆ ದಾಯರ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ನುಕುರೆ ಫತ ವರ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋ ಯ ಜಿಯಾರೆ ಕಂ ಹುರಿ ಫುರ್ಸತ್ ತಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೋ ಕೊಲ್ಲ ಸಿ ಯು ಎಟ್ ವರ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋ
See you sooner of our expo.
Welcome back to PSN News in English. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu announces that the highly anticipated road construction project in Tulustu, Kafu Atoll, will commence by January at the least, promising a swift acceleration of development initiatives for the island. The president made the pledge while addressing a community meeting with Tulustu residents during his visit to the island on Tuesday as part of his ongoing tour of 3 islands of the atoll, emphasizing his administration's commitment to the swift delivery on his pledges. Speaking to the community, President Dr. Muizzu highlighted the road construction as the most critical undertaking, aiming to begin work even before the end of this year, though guaranteeing its start by early next year. He underscored the profound importance of improved road infrastructure for the island's approximately 1,800 residents. Beyond the road network, President Dr. Muizzu outlined a comprehensive development agenda for Tulustu. This includes providing land from the dredged area and initiating a housing project in the island. He also confirmed that a population consolidation project would be carried out, aligning with requests from the residents. Further enhancing the island's facilities, a modern football Indoor Stadium and a new harbour on the west side of Tulustu are slated for inclusion in next year's state budget. Addressing financial services, the president announced that efforts to establish a branch of the Bank of Maldives (BML) and introduce dollar ATM services in Tulustu would begin early next year. During the visit, President Dr. Moizu officially inaugurated the newly developed State Electric Company Limited Stelco reverse osmosis RO water production plant in Tulustu before witnessing the groundbreaking on a new police station, power station renovation project, and the new 30-bed hospital on the island. He also attended the ceremonies held to sign the contracts to award waste management services in Tulustu to Waste Management Corporation Limited (WAMCO) and the project to construct a new building for the Kafu Atoll Educational Centre on the island. Despite the rather packed schedule, President Dr. Moizu took time out to meet the Tulustu Island Council, the Women's Development Committee (WDC), and heads of local institutions to discuss the island's key development priorities. Tulustu was the final stop of the president's two-day visit that included all inhabited islands in Laviani Atoll and 3 islands in Kafu Atoll. President Dr. Mohammad Moizu pledges to double the land area of Tiffushi in Kafu Atoll, outlining a far-reaching infrastructure program designed to ease spatial constraints and expand essential services for the island's growing population. Addressing residents during a community meeting, the president detailed a series of development initiatives including land reclamation, healthcare upgrades, educational expansion, and targeted support for tourism. The measures reflect his administration's broader strategy to stimulate growth across outer islands. The centerpiece of the president's visit was the land reclamation project, which he confirmed is already underway. He committed to a firm timeline for completion. The expanded land area is expected to support new housing, tourism infrastructure, and urban development, which the president described as critical to the island's future. The president underscored that the reclaimed land would serve as a foundation for multiple sectors. He identified housing, local tourism, and broader urban development as priority areas for expansion, underscoring the strategic importance of the project in addressing the island's long-term needs. Tifushi's growing role in the tourism sector prompted a commitment to install US dollar ATM, aimed at facilitating commerce and improving financial access for visitors and residents alike. Plans for social infrastructure were also outlined, with the president confirming that school development will continue through the construction of a multipurpose hall, general classrooms, and facilities for students requiring specialized support. He stated that construction of a new mosque will begin this year, with the project to be awarded to a designated contractor. Next year's budget will include funding for the island's road network, including a drainage and water outfall system. Recreational facilities are also planned, with volleyball and handball courts to be built. Healthcare improvements are scheduled for the coming year, with Tifushi's health center set to transition to 24-hour operations. The budget will provide for additional staff, including doctors and attendants. The facility is slated for physical expansion to support the introduction of advanced diagnostic capabilities, including X-ray imaging and scan services, as part of the island's upgraded healthcare provision. A buoy will be installed near the island to facilitate sports fishing. President Moizu also met with members of the Tiffushi Island Council, the Women's Development Committee, and institutional heads during his visit, where he also inaugurated key infrastructure and presided over the launch of several development initiatives. President Moizu also presided over the opening of the new powerhouse in Tiffushi, operated by the State Electric Company Stelco. The facility represents a major upgrade in the island's energy infrastructure, with an installable capacity of 7 megawatts, more than triple the previous 2.2 megawatts. Physical works on the Tiffushi land reclamation project were formally initiated during the presidential visit. Groundwork was laid for a dedicated waste management center in Tiffushi, made of a national effort to reinforce environmental services across the country. The visit also included the groundbreaking ceremony for a new fitness and recreation center, part of a government-led initiative to broaden access to sports and wellness facilities across inhabited islands. President Dr. Mohammad Moizu unveils a strategic development initiative aimed at accelerating economic and social progress in Kashidu, a geographically isolated island in Kafu Atoll.
Addressing residents during a recent visit, the president tied the launch of scheduled seaplane services to the successful commencement of a proposed resort project in the island's lagoon. Kashidu, home to more than 2,000 residents, has long faced structural challenges due to its remote location. The president acknowledged that a prior attempt to attract investment for the lagoon resort has faltered, citing geographic and regulatory constraints as key deterrents. In response, the government has reopened the search for investors, this time offering significant concessions on prices and rates. President Muizzu expressed confidence that the revised terms would help secure the capital needed to advance the project. The resort initiative forms part of the broader infrastructure agenda designed to improve connectivity and unlock economic potential. Plans include the introduction of transport arrangements aligned with the resource development. As part of this effort, preparations are underway to launch the Raja Transport Link RTL ferry service to Kashidu. The president also underscored the need for a modern harbour, assuring residents the project would be prioritised in the forthcoming national budget. These infrastructure commitments are intended to lay the groundwork for broader economic revitalisation. President Muizzu projected that the developments would spur new business activity across multiple sectors and improve the island's overall financial outlook. During the visit, President Muizzu convened consultations with the Island Council, the Women's Development Committee (WDC) and local institutional leaders to assess the island's development priorities. The discussion centered on infrastructure, healthcare, tourism and food security sectors identified as critical to Kashidu's long-term growth. The visit also marked the start of construction on a new building at Kashidu Health Center. The government has awarded the construction contract to MTCC. According to officials, the project is designed to resolve space limitations and expand the range of services offered to the public. The center currently operates on a 24-hour basis. President Muizzu stated that the upgrade will increase bed capacity, expand clinical space and introduce new services including X-ray and scan capabilities. Physiotherapy services are expected to begin during the current phase of work. In a parallel initiative, the Kashidu Island Council formally transferred 1 hectare of land to the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Welfare. The handover ceremony was held during the president's engagement with island residents. Officials anticipate that the project will significantly boost domestic food production through sustainable, environmentally friendly technologies. By strengthening the island's level food systems, the government aims to reduce reliance on imported goods. The initiative is also expected to generate training, employment and business opportunities in the agricultural sector. An agreement to modernize Kashidu's road network was also signed during the president's visit. Furthermore, construction has also commenced on a new community rehabilitation center in Kashidu. In tandem with other development initiatives, construction has officially begun on a new police station in Kashidu.
The Minister of Economic Development and Trade, Muhammad Saeed, delivers scathing criticism of the previous administration's fiscal policy, alleging that the former government borrowed a staggering $8 billion but utilized the entirety of the debt purely for recurrent, day-to-day expenses rather than for revenue-generating investments.
Answering questions from lawmakers during Tuesday's parliament sitting, Minister Said detailed the blatant economic mismanagement, stressing that the massive borrowing was not channeled into any projects that could generate revenue or contribute to long-term economic growth. To underline the severity of desperation of the alleged financial decisions, the minister claimed that vital public infrastructure was used as collateral for loans. Minister Said also criticized the previous administration's monetary approach, specifically the printing of $518.8 million. He dismissed the former government's official justification that the money printing was necessary due to economic difficulties caused by the pandemic by revealing discrepancies in the use of allocated relief funds. According to the minister, the state has received $564.2 million to cover COVID-related costs, but had only spent $272.4 million of the relief fund. Addressing the efforts now underway to stabilize the national currency and mitigate the financial damage, Minister Said explained that the current administration has engineered the passing of new foreign exchange law, which mandates the exchange of percentage of tourism dollar revenue to local banks. Minister Said also touched upon the significant economic impact of nationwide ATM network drive, explaining that daily ATM transaction in the atolls has now reached 9,300, circulating $1.7 million. The minister elaborated on the comprehensive expansion of ATM services, an initiative spearheaded by President Dr. Muhod Muizzu and launched by the Bank of Maldives (BML) last November. Providing a granular view of daily activity, Minister Said detailed that BML's ATMs handle 14,000 transactions daily in the capital Malé, circulating $5.1 million. He said in their tolls, the 9,300 daily transactions contribute $1.7 million to the local economies. The BML installed ATMs offer a range of services including cash withdrawals, deposits and other basic banking functionalities. In a further move to support the vital tourism sector, BML is also actively working to install dollar ATMs in select islands with booming local tourism, catering to the banking needs of both residents and international visitors.
According to the latest economic bulletin published by the Maldives Monetary Authority (MMA), the construction sector experienced a significant boom in the second quarter of this year, recording an impressive 11.3% growth. The robust expansion actively contributed to the overall growth of the Maldivian economy during the period, with the real estate sector also demonstrating positive momentum. The MMA's detailed quarterly report indicates that the substantial increase in construction activity was mirrored by an 11% rise in expenditure on imports of construction materials, signaling a strong pipeline of ongoing and new projects across the archipelago. Financial support from commercial banks also played a crucial role in this sector's upward trajectory, with loans issued to the construction industry increasing by 2%. This financing surge was primarily allocated towards housing construction, the renovation and expansion of resorts, and the development of various commercial buildings, reflecting diverse demand within the sector. The healthy performance of key economic sectors like construction underpinned the overall economic growth witnessed in the second quarter. The MMA's quarterly economic bulletin, a pivotal publication issued 4 times annually since 2013, aims to provide early identification of ongoing and anticipated changes in the economy, thereby aiding in informed policy making. The report offers comprehensive insights into the growth of all major industries and other pertinent economic information. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, and China signs an upgrade to their free trade agreement, which is expected to include sections on digital, green economy, and other new industries.
China is seeking to intensify its engagement with ASEAN, a region with a collective gross domestic product of $3.8 trillion, to counter hefty import tariffs imposed by US President Donald Trump's administration on countries around the world.
Complete uniformity of views is neither possible nor desirable. But I believe this appreciation for China's consistent and constructive engagement is shared by all.
The so-called 3.0 version of the free trade agreement between ASEAN and China was signed into effect at a summit of the bloc's leaders in Malaysia, which Trump attended at the start of his trip through Asia. Negotiations on the upgrade ASEAN-China deal began in November 2022 and concluded in May this year, just after Trump's tariff offensive kicked into gear. Their first FTA came into force back in 2010. According to ASEAN statistics, the 11-member bloc is China's largest trading partner, with bilateral trade totaling $771 last year.
Catherine Connolly, a veteran lawmaker on the far left of the Irish political spectrum, is elected president by a landslide margin in a stinging rebuke to the recently re-elected centre-right coalition.
Connolly, 68, a long-time critic of the European Union, in overwhelmingly pro-EU Ireland backed by the left-dominated opposition, was not a household name and was underestimated by many at the start of the contest for the largely ceremonial role.
From day one, I emphasised that I was an independent candidate with an independent mind. And for all who voted for me, thank you very much. It will be an absolute privilege to serve you. For those who didn't vote for me and those who spoiled their votes, let me tell you, I will be an inclusive president to listen to all of you. I will be making no distinction on the basis of votes.
Connolly, an independent candidate, built momentum as the campaign progressed, enthused younger voters and was elected with 63.4% of the vote. The other candidate seeking election, ex-cabinet minister Heather Humphreys, won 29.5%. Ireland's president is largely a figurehead with seldom used powers to test the constitutionality of legislation, but often speaks on the global stage and welcomes the other heads of the state of the country. Many of Connolly's views, from denouncing the EU's plans to boost military spending to questioning the trustworthiness of the United States, Britain and France over their stance on the war in Gaza, are well to the left of many of parties backing her, as well as outspoken incumbent Michael D. Higgins. The former clinical psychologist and barrister is one of the leading pro-Palestinian voices in Parliament, a stance shared by government and most voters.
The Serie A club Juventus sacks head coach Igor Tudor after failing to win their last 8 matches in all competitions.
Juventus stated Massimo Brambilla, head coach of the reserve team, will temporarily take over the first team manager. Croatian Tudor, who replaced Thiago Motta in March, was the first foreign manager appointed by Juventus since Didier Deschamps in 2006-07. Former centre-back Tudor spent nearly a decade of his playing career at Juventus, during which they won Serie A twice and reached the final of the Champions League. Tudor, 47, guided Juventus to a 4th-place finish in Serie A last season and secured qualification for the Champions League. But the club's form took a downturn last month after winning their first 3 league games, as they drew 5 successive matches in all competitions before slumping to 3 losses in a week to Como, Real Madrid and Lazio. Juventus, who host Udinese on Wednesday, have failed to score in their last 4 matches and sit 8th in the Serie A standings, 6 points behind leaders Napoli.
In a workshop in Najaf, Iraqi mechanic and scrap artist Hussein Dawood carefully assembles a model made entirely from upcycled vehicle scrap parts, blending creativity with environmental consciousness. What began as a hobby has evolved into a unique form of scrap art to repurpose metal waste, used tires and discarded vehicle parts. Dawood sources materials from workshops across Najaf, including motorcycle repair shops where discarded parts such as engines and tools are repurposed for his creations. Dawood dreams of taking his scrap art worldwide and displaying it in public places like parks, gardens and streets, creating art pieces that raise awareness about the environment. His scrap art has recently reached Al-Qadisiyah province in Iraq, also known as Diwania, where his artwork, a fist holding a wrench, now stands outside an oil products distribution company, symbolizing its engineers. And that's all we have for now. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a pleasant day ahead.